we are doing something new for this year's book review. The plan is to review a book right after I've read it, so this video will be a compilation of me going through the year and sharing my thoughts on the books I've read while they are still fresh in my mind. We are now in February and I've read 14 books, 12 of which were fan fictions, and I will not be reviewing fan fictions unless I stumble upon something really good. And before anyone thinks of arguing that fan fictions are not books, if it is more than 200 pages long, then I am considering it a book. And that is that. So we are starting with Assistant to the Villain. I'm currently visiting a friend, and she insisted I read it because she was confident I would like it. And she was not wrong. The title does a pretty good job at summarizing what this book is about, and honestly, this kind of tomfoolery is exactly what I needed. I know it's a TikTok book, and I had zero expectations of it apart from having a laugh. And a laugh I did have. It's really easy to read, it doesn't take itself seriously, and the plot is there, but I feel like it's there just to be there, if you catch my drift. This is a book to read mindlessly when you just want to have a break, and that's it. It was a delight to read, and I am going to buy my own copy, and I am looking forward to the second book. I finished it in a day and a half. And I honestly would have been done with it in a day, if it weren't for the fact I started reading it while my friend and I were out for the whole day, and we managed to sneak in only a couple of hours of reading in a cafe. 4 out of 5. It's getting dark, so I'm just gonna go put the chicken in the hut, and I'll be back with Pride and Prejudice. I know I'm late to the party, and the reason for that is... Ellie, down, Ellie, honey, Ellie. Down. Come on. Down. Ellie. I present to you the rebel. Ellie, say hi. Ellie. If you're going to cause trouble, please say hi to the nice people over there. No? Okay. What are we doing? Ellie. Yes, honey. Hello. Come here, darling. Come here, your highness. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm late to the party because I have a resistance towards reading classics that has been ingrained within me since my time in school. But I finally decided to read it, and boy oh boy is this a masterpiece. I don't remember the last time I enjoyed a book so much, and I can't even pinpoint why I was so obsessed with it. Would you like to say hi, or do you just want to show your tail? The Queen has left us. Now, I am someone who procrastinates and usually goes to bed at around 1 or 2 a.m. But because of this marvelous piece of art, for 3 days straight, I rushed through all of my daily tasks just so I could go to bed at 9 p.m. and read. And now I kind of feel empty. I also feel like I would like a Mr. Darcy. No offense to my lovely boyfriend, whom I love very much, and who has graciously agreed to watch the movie with me during the weekend, which I am certain he will hate, but we will watch it nonetheless. Ellie, why are you up there again? Ellie. Ellie, down. Ellie, down, please. To be fair, the story is very simple, but the way it was written, the way Jane Austen weaves her words, and the wittiness and social commentary are so captivating that I now fully understand why this book has withheld the test of time and is the blueprint for romance novels. 5 out of 5. We have 2 books in March. The first one is A Court of Wings and Ruin. I have to say, this is my favorite from the ACOTAR series. Give me plot, action, and politics, and I'm there. And I know a lot of people say that their favorite is the second one, but no, I devoured this one. Also, I somehow managed to convince my boyfriend to read ACOTAR, so I will keep you updated on his progress. 4 out of 5. The Hero of Ages, the last one from the Mistborn series. I read this one so painfully slow, simply because I didn't want it to end. I wasn't ready to say goodbye to some of the characters. So this turned into my travel book, and I only read it while I was commuting. apart from the last 100 pages because I didn't want to cry on the tube. Brandon Sanderson has stolen my heart, and I'm going to read all of his books patiently and slowly so I can make them last for as long as possible. Anyway, this whole book was just so intense. It was packed with action and so many emotions, and it was just brilliant. So if you're into high fantasy, politics, and very well-built magical systems, then I highly recommend you read this series. 5 out of 5. We are starting spring with some more fairies. First, we have A Court of Frost and Starlight. I could have gone without reading this one. It feels like an anime filler episode. If you're into that, then good for you. I just don't like this type of books. The majority of it was just Christmas shopping. Barely anything relevant to the actual plot of the series happened, and whatever was relevant was then mentioned and explained in the next book. So, to me, this is the definition of this could have been an email. I barely finished it. So I give it a 2 out of 5, and I think it's the weakest book in the series. With that said, I have mixed feelings about A Court of Silver Flames. It absolutely was the most emotionally charged book in the series, and it really made me connect to Nest and Cassian. The journey to them becoming friends was so well paced that they actually felt like the most real couple to me in the series. Nesta somehow became my favorite of the sisters, and Gwen joined the ranks of my top 5 side characters. Now, there are issues I would like to discuss. This will get a bit spoilery, so if you haven't read it, please skip to this timestamp. 1. The whole pregnancy plot just felt like a cheap cop-out and a way to get Feyre and Rhys off the playing field. Rhys? 2. Nesta could have redeemed herself 1,000 different ways. To me, her power was one of the most interesting plot lines in the series, and getting rid of it that way was so anticlimactic and unnecessary. I really wish they could have explored her power more. My third issue is that I'm not a fan of all of the Naruto moments. The power of love, the power of friendship, the right, and then Cassian fighting against the mind control thing was just cheesy, and I feel like it was also rushed. And I think that the girls and Nesta deserved more. Number 4 is a non-spoiler one, and I just think the book could have been shorter. The self-healing journey was a tad too long for my taste. It became annoying at one point. A time jump would have sufficed for some of it, the way some of the training was time jumped. So, overall, I give A Court of Silver Flames a 3 out of 5, and A Court of Wings and Ruin remains my favorite in the series. I must prepare myself for this one. 4th wing. Garbage. Internet, you have betrayed me. Now, before anyone starts raging at me in the comments, hear me out, please. I, personally, think that it's extremely mean to come up with such an interesting plot that people want to read, but then write it as if you're a 16-year-old submitting an English assignment. The writing is so dry. It's utterly boring. And what's even more infuriating is that it doesn't even make sense plot-wise for it to be written in such a dry way and with such a limited vocabulary, because it's written from Violet's perspective, who is supposed to have been training to be a scribe. Yes, Violet, we get it. You are the shortest, tiniest, most fragile, little, weakest, itsy-bittiest girl, but you will not die today. Her character is also very inconsistent, and as one of my friends rightfully pointed out, it feels like Rebecca is writing the character's reactions the way she herself felt at the moment, instead of actually following the characterizations she had created for that said character. We have a saying in Bulgarian, "Вълкът си мени кожата, но нравът не." And I think that would translate into A wolf can change his coat, but not his character. Anyway, Xaden is Reese/Azriel from Wish, and wink wink, Dimitri from Vampire Academy. I cared about 3 things: the plot, the dragons, and one side character. And by the end of the book, I was only left with one thing: the dragons. And believe me when I tell you, that is not enough to keep me going. The plot turned out to be extremely predictable, and keep in mind I was reading this as part of a book club. So we were discussing things as we were reading along, and we were exchanging theories, and can you guess what? They all happened. Also, can we look at the design for a moment? Why do we have the same map 3 different times? Okay, 1, 2, 3. And why are key locations mentioned in the book not on any of the 3 maps? After a certain event, I was so pissed off, I skim-read the last 30 or so pages and then I just called it a day. And the before-mentioned friend insists I tell you that she had to go to a petting zoo to recover from reading this book. 2 out of 5. Goodbye. I guess now she wants to go outside. And now she wants back in again. It hasn't been a minute, Ellie.